Assalamu alaikum, Dan. How are you?
Walaikum salam, bro. Ahmed, how are you?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Howdy.
Welcome to another edition of daily COVID-19 update, straight
Yeah.
talk with Ben Suwareh. And um, we really appreciate your time. And just briefly, as usual, introduce yourself to the viewers of Gunyur News Online. Today, your light is not great. I don't know what happened.
Oh, it's
No,
not
it's
great.
okay. No,
It's
yeah.
mobile is a bit cloudy.
It's okay. Yeah, that's great. That's not your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, introduce yourself to the viewers of Good News Online, then we can proceed from there.
Assalamu alaikum. It's me, Suleiman Ben Suwareh. Normally on Fatu Network on the Gambia, Gambia, uh, Gambia Way Forward program. A social political analyst. I'm from Citizen for Bakau, Sanjaba. Thank you, Ahmad.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I am the host, your host. Welcome to Good News TV Online. As you know, we will be discussing the president. As you know, our executive is missing, and our parliament is in recess. I don't know what's happening with our judiciary. So it looks like Gambia is in a sort of constitutional crisis. So Ben will try to answer your questions. Where is the president? And inshallah, in 1 hour program, if we have the time, we will discuss about the tents. I think most of you have seen tents been erected at the Independence Stadium. Who is coordinating them and what are they for? We will be discussing that. And also, if you read Gambian newspapers today, Dusano lambast the CSOs, the diasporans. Ben will touch on that. Why Dusano is angry with the civil society organizations. And also efficiency call for Gambians expert in the diaspora to join the fight against COVID-19 on the ground. But as usual, before that, I'll just give a brief update about COVID numbers before we proceed.
Okay. Let me just adjust
Okay.
here. Someone is saying that they can hear you, but not very loud on the Fatu radio. Just to remind the viewers, we are trying to simulcast the program on Fatu radio as well. Let me just adjust a bit of the volume here to see whether it will make a difference.
No, it
Okay,
might be
just
with
a
me.
minute.
It might be my fault.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, it
Okay.
might be my fault. Sorry, let me just adjust this. Sorry about that. Too many earpiece. One was connected to my mobile actually. How is it going now?
Okay. Charles would let us know how it is now, Charles. How it is now,
Okay.
Charles will let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, Ahmad, as you were saying, unfortunately, we don't have enough time to cover the whole program, but we'll do our best to answer some of these questions and to ask the relevant questions. As you said, we are trying to find where is the executive, not Barrow alone. The entire executive seems to be missing. Ahmad, can you speak? Let him test whether you come in loud.
Yeah, yes, that's me, Ben. Welcome to another episode of Straight Talk with Ben Suwareh. Today we will be discussing the disappearance of the executive and also the cabinet. They don't seem to be anywhere, and also the parliament is in recess. How about that?
Thank you. Thank you, Ahmad. Should be okay because I'll be answering the questions. And if I answer, I think the people would get the other side of the conversation. Thank you very much, Ahmad. We are in a serious time in the Gambia right now. And I think there's a power vacuum already. We can say there's a power vacuum in the country. You have seen the latest COVID update. And as we said the reports, the figures that are reported are even lacking. They are about 3 days ago, but it's serious. They are talking about a 2.8%, which is from 1.7% or 1.9% few days ago, and that interprets to be something like over 20,000 people might lose their life within a short period. And we have not heard from the government. We have not heard from the executive. That is serious. We don't expect a non-elected person in the form of a spokesperson to be updating Gambians of what is happening in the country. The president was given a mandate to govern that country. We expect him to lead from the front, not from the back. And the president was mandated to have a cabinet, and we expect him to govern with the cabinet. The cabinet is missing. But another problem is here. The Gambian people voted for members of parliament. And now, with all these serious issues going on, our members of parliament are in recess. With all the new information coming out, that everything the government have said before, it's not true. It's not what the evidence we had. The government went to parliament and made an explanation and asked for money that they need to spend. And we are finding out that they have not spent the money where they said they were going to spend the money. They came out and explained to the people that they have the leadership it required, and they have the coordination strategies ready to make sure they fight this pandemic. But we have found out that to be untrue. Then the country is facing the problem of this pandemic. Now parliament is nowhere to be seen. Parliament is nowhere to be seen. This morning I made a post. That's why I'm asking Gambian people to go back and ask their parliamentarian to convene. Let them get back to parliament and discuss the priorities of this country. The country people are dying. The country economic have collapsed. It's not collapsing. The economy have collapsed because we don't expect to have tourism. And it's not going, to improve if we stay and wait for Barrow to come out, or parliament to spend their recess, and after their recess to convene, it will be too late. We are calling on Gambian people to ask their parliamentarian to come out and discuss the priorities. But again, these parliamentarians came from political parties. We are asking the political party leaders, who's supposed to be the alternative of the governance, alternative, to the government. They should be out there proactive to tell us what is actually going on, what is their strategy, or to hold government accountable in order for these issues to be dealt with according to priority. We expect the opposition leaders to come together. They should not wait for the executive to invite them. They have approached the executive, and the executive have ignored them. That's not enough. We expect them to take the leadership and invite each other and stand up and invite the private sector, invite the civil society, because these are the sectors of governance we have. And in order to either hold the government accountable, or let them tell us what alternative programs do they have for Gambian people. Gambian people want to hear solutions to this problem. Gambian people want to see the solutions of this problem dealt with. We don't expect the entire cabinet to be dysfunctional. The president is missing in action. They said that the president is negative. Why is he not seen? The vice president is missing in action. They came back last week to say that the vice president is negative. Why is he missing in action? The speaker of the assembly have been missing for coming to 2 months now. We don't actually know what's wrong with him her, sorry, we knew that he sent a letter that he's not feeling well. But what is his real status right now? The Gambian people need to know. It's part of the leadership, the mandate given to them to give us relevant information which is timely. A timely information needed to be given to Gambians. Right now, the Gambia is in a crossroad. The pandemic is killing us. The health system is completely collapsed. We have Gambians, civil society trying whatever they can to try to, bring about help. That's why it's important that you noted that we have seen a tent erected. We need to discuss that. You have noted the efforts of the Gambian diaspora health workers, the initiative they have, which is commendable, but we need to look into that. And every other issue that needed to be dealt with have to be dealt with now. We cannot wait till tomorrow. We needed to do this yesterday. And now it's as urgent as it can be. Ahmed. Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ben. Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. President, Vice President, Speaker, Parliament, all missing, and the entire Parliament. So, if that's not a constitutional crisis, what is this? I'm asking your viewers. You can call on +220 9433 to contribute if you want, or you just write your comment right out there. So we know the president is they say is negative, but where is he? Ben, what do you think Gambians can do now to make sure that the president is produced? Because I've seen you post something like this. When we ask for the president, they bring an itinerary, his appearance record, which amounted like 79 minutes in almost 1 year. So, but you ask for the president body to be produced. What can we do as CSOs? Because the oppositions are so useless. Do Sano is venting his anger on the CSOs because he know there is no opposition anyway. So it's the CEOs that are banging in the drums. Why do you think Dusano is losing it with the CSOs?
Thank you very much, Ahmad. I have to start with the reaction from State House.
Yeah.
And the president have been inactive since he became a president. We all know that. But what I want to emphasize on Gambians now, we don't even should expect Barrow to come out. What I mean is, Barrow coming out is not a solution anymore. We have gone past that. The Gambians, what I am saying as a Gambian, and a strategy is Gambia should decide today and now how they are governing, how they're going to govern themselves. That's why it's important for the opposition, for civil society, private sector to come together and have this national discourse of how do we go forward from here. Barrow is completely out of the equation. Barrow should be completely out of the equation if Gambians are serious. Ahmad, if Gambians are serious, Barrow should be discounted. This is not about politics. This is about a national emergency. Now, Barrow has been known because of his incompetence. Barrow would not take on anything serious. Barrow is into government for the sweetness of government, but not to deliver anything for the people. That's not an argument anymore. That's known to the Gambian people. It's up to the Gambian people to take this seriously. Now, when we asked Barrow to come out, what happened? The State House came out and said that Barrow is going to address the nation in local languages. We welcome that to happen. Only for the picture of Barrow be projected on the television and the voice of Sankare to be coming out addressing Gambians and on issues that are not even clear. Every week they are telling us something new and that is not progressive. Gambians are confused on what is the actual regulation. What is actual strategy here? We expect government to speak to us every day, every minute, right now, to know where we're going from here. After that, we have not heard from State House again. We kept on agitating. The civil society took the proactive leadership. I am disappointed in the opposition. The civil society took the leadership and started to engage the front line and to make sure that the healthcare system is safe. The reason the civil society engaged the front line is to save our healthcare system, so that the problems with the healthcare would be highlighted. This was a strategic move that the civil society did. And they wrote to the president and gave 72 hours for the president to respond. Failure to do that, they would use any legal means available to them to make sure the government is all accountable. When that happened, that agitation worked. The State House responded by telling us something which might not be true, that the vice president now is negative. But we still haven't seen any proof of that. We have not even seen the vice president again. We have not heard from the vice president. Again, after a few days, we kept on agitating. They came out with a list, a spreadsheet, telling us that the president has spoken to us. And as you said, the president has spent about over 1 hour for almost 6 months to talk to us about COVID. That's how much they can do. That proves the desperation of trying to cover the president. What are they covering, Ahmad? This is not about incompetence. This is about being dishonest. The president might be, and very likely, not in good health. I am saying this, and I say it again. I don't have proof to it, but the burden of proof is not unto us, it's unto them. If they came out to say that the president is going to address us, the president failed to address us. They came out trying to justify the president failing to address us by giving us a document that telling us that the president spoke to us for less than 2 hours for the period of 6 months. Even on normal times, that's not right, especially during a pandemic. Now it's up to Gambians to deduct what they have to deduct from this. But again, you ask a question: why did Sano attack the CSOs? I said the CSOs have done what they are supposed to be doing. They proactively challenged to ask for accountability. They proactively went and supported the frontline workers in order to save our national health service, in order to save Gambian lives. Where is the opposition in this? Where is parliament in this? Where are the opinion leaders in this? Where are our imams and our priests, our bishops in this? Civil society as groupings have come out to call up for this accountability. Not only that, civil society went on to petition parliament and sign, post out a petition for citizens to sign to ask parliament to reconvene, parliament to get back to where they should be to discuss these social issues. But Ahmad, is a disappointment that petition have only been signed by 1,000 Gambians. 1,000 Gambians. I alone have more than 5,000 followers, but it's only signed by 1,000 Gambians. The political party forums, almost in every political party forums, this petition was presented to them. Where is the progressiveness of our political party forums? How comes they did not take ownership of this document and sign this document to make sure parliament is held to account, so that they will come out and do what they elected to do what they are paid to do? It's not for them to hold debate in the open only. We want them to go to parliament, hold debate, so that decisions would be reached, so that the priorities can be dealt with. The failure of the opposition have just been proven, because State House have just sent one of their dogs, Dusano, to attack CSOs. But if this is a lesson, this is a lesson to the so-called educated Gambians. This is a lesson to the so-called Gambian elites. If you call yourself successful, if you call yourself educated, if you call yourself anything, but today, Dusano, Sankares, and others are governing your country without a mandate. Dusano, Sankare, and others are governing you without your mandate. Where is your sophistication to call yourself an elite? Where's your sophistication to call yourself an educated person? Where's your sophisticatedness to call yourself a wealthy person? What have you achieved? Let's stop counting our achievement based on the houses we acquire, the wives or husbands we marry, the family we've got, the education we have, the amount of money we have. Until our society can be proud of, until our country can be proud, we can be proud of our society and country, we have not achieved anything. Literally, we allow idiots not to even govern us, to illegally govern us. Today, I believed anything that comes out as government is not coming from Barrow. I want to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong. Let Barrow comes out. Let the government converge. Let the Minister of Finance come out. Let the all these ministers come out. Let the cabinet come out and deliberate on issues. Then I will believe that we have a cabinet. I will believe that we have an executive. As at present, we are governed by illegal mechanism. Sankare, Dusanos, and the others are governing the Gambia. Are we that hopeless? Are we that useless to allow this situation to continue? What is the point of these political parties? I am appealing to Gambians, and especially people, members of political parties. If you want to tell us your political party leader is sophisticated, your political party leader is fit for purpose, and right now this country is in this dire situation and we cannot hear from them, we cannot see the solutions, I am afraid there must be something wrong with you too. We have to be bold enough and say it as it is. We cannot be quiet anymore. Civil society have played their role and continue to play their role. Now we expect the political establishment to come out to play their role. We expect the political party leaders to come out and play their role. We expect the citizens to come out and continue to play their role. And we cannot achieve our desires, and we will not be out of this danger if we fail to have a leadership. We love our country. We might want to do everything or even give our lives for our country. But if we're not careful, we'll give our life for our country and still the problem will be there. This is not about only physical presence. This is about the intellectuality that is needed. This is about the honesty that is needed. This is about the foresight as a leader that is needed to stand up to lead the country out of this. The problem we have in the country today and the problem we have in the country yesterday is problem of leadership. That's why we are calling the people to come out as leaders of every sector. We expect every sector leaders to stand up to make sure we tackle this problem and make sure we win this war against COVID and recover the country as it is. Ahmed.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ben. That is really, really sad. It's like Gambia is being governed by Dusano and Sankare and the former information minister. And that's the same, I've seen Nyanja also made, he challenged the educated elites. What is Gambia next election is beyond party politics. And he's challenging the educated elites to come together to get their hands dirty if we really, really want to liberate our country. We cannot be sitting and leave politics to the sycophants and idiots and expect this country to progress. It's never going to happen. Coming back to why it's important the president need to come, because we are in a crisis. That's why we have state of emergency. We're in a state of emergency. We are in a ship which have no rudder. So that brings us to, Ben, this lady, Efinyas, is a nurse, a Gambian nurse in the US, is calling on Gambian diasporas who are willing and ready to support the fight against COVID in the Gambia, because you mentioned earlier our healthcare system is completely broken. And last week, our death rate was like 1.9. Today, it is 2.8. That is 0.9% increase in death. As far as death is concerned, that is a significant jump. And our test rates significantly reduced from almost 700 to 150 per day. That shows the number of personnel is not there, or the test kits are dwindling. But this is a serious issue. Ben, how is that going to work? And what do you think that is feasible anyway? Gambians, those who want to travel to go and help, because I would really love to go to the Gambia now and help.
Thank you very much, Ahmad, for that question. But before dealing with the healthcare problem, I've just got a text here telling me that why has SN Brussels been given regular weekly slot every Wednesday? Why have SN Brussels given the slot to bring in people? They are asking people to test prior to come in, but forgetting that people don't exist in a bubble. Travelers will pay their quarantine costs also. Why is all of this happening now? Ahmad, there are many questions that we need to answer. That's why we need Parliament to reconvene, to look at everything that government says they were doing and what they said that they've done. Now that brings us to the point about Sister Ifinyasi.
Yeah.
Ahmad, this is what I keep on saying. When people say, Gambian bahoy, Gambia do them. Yes, without the leadership, Gambia do them. Without the leadership, Gambian doing this Gambian bu bah. Lunyo gis moy Gambian bu bon. But it's unto us to make sure you gis Gambian bu bah bo. People like Ifinyasi and all the Gambians, we have seen whenever you ask for something on social media to help, Gambians will come out and help. Ahmad, I can tell you this. I've done a research on this. Go and find out from every diasporan website, African diasporan forums. There's no diasporan forum that does more than Gambians do. Passionate about their country in politics, passionate about humanitarian efforts to their country. There's no other country in Africa don't do more than we do. I can tell you that it's based on research. Now, if we have, and the people, and if we is, I don't know much about it, they have stepped up on the platform. They have took on, based on their love for country, love for people, and want to do something. But I'm afraid they might not be able to deliver what they want to deliver. It's one thing having the ambitions, one thing having the desire, one thing having the inspiration, but that country should be run by a government. And a government is missing. There's nothing in place running that country. It's in a free fall. Ahmad, you might want to sacrifice yourself, your life, your everything, your family to go to the Gambia. Ahmad, but if you know the realities in that country right now, the infighting between healthcare workers, infighting between agencies that should purpose to be delivered because of the lack of leadership, the health system have completely collapsed. Now, what I don't know how did they come about to want to do this thing? But there are fundamental questions to be asked. If someone is living the diaspora here today, how long can you go out there to serve, to give back? How sustainable is that? Is someone going to support your family whilst you're away? Is someone going to support you whilst in the Gambia? How are you going to support yourself whilst in the Gambia? The resources to support you, where is that resources going to be deprived from? These are all questions to be asked. How effective are you going to be in there where there's no leadership? Do you have any mechanism in place to make sure that you will have impact whilst you are there? If you get there, are you not going to regret leaving everything behind, getting to the ground, and finding out that you cannot operate in here, and decided to pack and go back again? My advice is this: let them make sure they ask all the questions. I am in support of the initiative, but let them be very careful. Let them study what they're getting into. I know they have the capacity to do that. Let them take the time. I know because of the urgency, let them not be in a haste. This is going to stay with us for a while. Let them take the time to make sure it's done properly. I would ask them to make sure they have a contact coordinator on the ground. There's a new coordinator called Yaya Sanyang. Apparently, all the people I spoke to said that he's experienced and he meant well. But he is struggling himself to put things together. Now, let them make sure they have the blessing of the coordinator. Let them make sure that the coordinator is coordinating with them, with their effort to tell them exactly what they need and how they expect, and make sure they will be received, and they will have their role will be defined, and they can be utilized well. I will advise them to do a pilot project by starting something from the diaspora here and building a relationship with the healthcare workers they're going to work with through the coordinator. When they establish a relationship, win the confidence of the people they're going to work with, they can then send again a pilot project, send a team that will go down on the ground and experiment to try and see what they can achieve. And from the experience, they would learn, they know the weaknesses, and they will know the strength. And from this information, they can build on that and probably get more support on the ground and get a system where probably they can even rotate. And this thing might be even a permanent. You see, that's why I keep on saying, if this government have recognized and given the diaspora the recognition that was necessary, there would have already been established a mechanism that would have just been kicked in. But now everything has to be start from the drawing board to establish. I call on all Gambians. I call on all Gambians to support Ifinyasi and the initiative. However, whatever resources you have, try and find ways to get it to them. Especially try them to plan and make sure they have a strategy right, and make sure it's implementable. It's an initiative that we Gambians should take ownership of. But it's an initiative that needed to be thought through properly. I don't know how much thinking has been done and how much planning has been done. We expect for them to come out to tell us exactly what they want to do that will bring in more resources and bring Gambians on board, so that Gambians can take ownership of it, and they Ifinyasi and her team would take the lead, and Gambians would take the ownership of it and run with it. But it's not an easy challenge. We don't expect it to be an easy challenge, but it doesn't mean that it's not doable. It's doable, but it needs strategic planning for it to be implemented. And these are things that we needed yesterday, but for now it's an urgency, and we should make sure it works out right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, you raised some very, very pertinent issue. We know, in fact, one of our biggest problem where we got it wrong, as soon as MRC trained few of the staff from the Ministry of Health, they decided to take full control, to get full control of the funds. And as they said, everything is history because everything become chaotic, and even MRC, end up being caught up in the whole mess because they
Yes.
now have to close their doors to the outside because of the number of infection they have in their own staff and all that. So that bring
Mhm.
about this lack of capacity. So maybe you never know. Well, this is very likely. Will they let in the diaspora to come in, work with them or alongside them? That's something that need to be answered. I would definitely would love to go and help, but as you said, systems have to be in place that can that you can definitely go and make some impact. Because
Yeah.
if you go, you end up being frustrated because of the way things are. People are looking at you as an outsider who came to take their job or whatever. That's you don't want to do that, this kind of initiative, and end up regretting. And the final segment is about the tents. We've seen beautiful tents, coming up. And but before that, I want you to elaborate. I've seen GCCI, manage to raise about 20,000. For is that the one we saw earlier on the pandemic, or this is a new thing? Because this is another serious money. What is it for, and why now?
Thank you very much, Ahmad. Thank you very much, Ahmad. Let me elaborate back again on the issue you talk about MRC and the problem they went through. Ahmad, right now, there are allegations, and these allegations, there are facts even, that probably some people are sabotaging orders in order to prove a point or in order to take over projects. It is so serious. You might not imagine that during a pandemic, human
Mhm.
beings or professionals or people supposed to be professionals would be undermining each other. But Ahmad, is already happening. The urgency, and some of us have seen how scared we are for that country. Some people in that country doesn't care. They don't care. They are still trying to get the resources to themselves and their family rather than to make sure we
Mhm.
fight this.
Mhm.
A typical example, as you said, how MRC have struggled. And you knew how structured MRC is. You
Yeah.
knew the capacity with MRC, but they end up becoming a victim. The treatment center, the testing center, we all know the story that happens there. But there are more serious allegations. I will let people know there already a report been finalized to be sent to the Human Rights Center for the amount of abuse of health workers. I mean, presently during this pandemic, the amount of abuse from the bureaucracy to some senior members of the healthcare system. I mean, doing to junior healthcare workers. It is something we have to really think about. Ahmad, naturally, it's very difficult for diasporans to work with people on the ground. It will come to culture, professional I mean culture as what we are used to in here and what we can tolerate or what we cannot tolerate. It comes from against on envy. And remember, some people, some, I'm not saying all, some people are not in for the good. And if you are in for the good, they'll try to discredit you. They'll try to undermine you. These are all challenges. But it does not stop us from taking the challenge on. Why I am emphasizing is make sure we factor this in. If you don't know the problem, you will not find the solutions. I want us to diagnose this problem properly and make sure we go in there effective. There's no point going in there and causing more problems or not be effective whilst we have sacrificed everything. Ahmad, that will take us again to the 2 points you raised. You raised about the tent. This tent is presented as Panya Girigara have built a tent. I want Gambians to understand how this tent came about. Yes, the tent belonged to Panjai Girigara, a group of Gambians who form a task force trying to help the healthcare system in order to prepare a place away from the hospitals to stop the cross-contamination. These people decided they had a strategy in place, and they were told that Panjai Girigala has a tent. They went and approached Panjai Girigala for this tent, and Panjai Girigala agreed to give out this tent. But that's where the transaction stopped. The next minute, they just saw a tent being put on. I'm not sure whether you got that. Now they just saw a tent being put on.
Yes.
Rather than the transaction that was meant to continue. These people, according to them, they have got everything prepared. They have a plan. But now it's like their plan, the minute they put their idea there, someone hijacked their idea. But it seems as the person that hijacked the idea is not doing a good job of it. And I'll give my reason. I am not an engineer, but I know problems with tents. I have erected tents. I have worked in emergency situation where tents are erected. Ahmad, if you look at the location where the tent has been erected, if you look at the soil topography, the soil, you can see the color, this coloring of the soil. That's the stagnation of water. It's a waterlogged pool. If you know Bakau, you know from the Fajara end, water runs from Fajara coming down to stadium, down to the Faro corner. That's why the water comes down. But what happened in recent years? They have built the roads in Bakau and lifting the roads on top. Now when the water comes from Fajara, it does not pass on to Faro corner. Rather, it causes this pool of water in Newtown, where the stadium is. Now, if you build in a tent, you build a tent in an area where it's a waterlogged. Likely, when it rains heavily, water would be stagnant. What are you going to create? You're creating a puddle all over you. The tent, as I've seen, there's no floor raised up. There's nothing to protect the wind erosion. The elements from the wind can easily bring the tent down, because the tent cannot just be supported on those the harnesses that he had. It needs more to be done. The water supply, I've not seen in that environment. You have the as I remember it, you have the volleyball court, you have the basketball court, you have all these things around there. It will take them more resources to pull the water from the Independence Stadium or from the Friendship Hostel. To get that water there, to get the electric supply there, to get all the other facilities there. It will take that. It will take more investment to do that. It takes more time to do that. But the worst is, even if you put all that, then you will be, the whole area might likely to be waterlogged. And waterlogged, Ahmad, you know the problem with cross infection, especially with other agencies like cholera and others. Remember in Freetown, Sierra Leone, with the Ebola, most of the problem was the treatment centers were not in the right place. Then with all this rain, this water, the cross-contamination became a huge problem. Now, people are running to either own something, to say that I did this or I own this. Others are running to get profit, to make business. Others are running to build political capital from all this. Rather, because of what, Ahmad, we have a vacuum. We have no leadership. The coordinators are struggling. As I said, what I heard about the coordinator, Yaya Sanyang, is experience, and he meant good. But Ahmad, you are good as the team that you have. A single person cannot just do everything. If the government doesn't have the political will, if the government is gross incompetence, you don't have chance in hell making any improvement of the situation. Until we realize this and improve on our governance, until we realize this and improve on our leadership, until we realize this to put in a government and a system that is competent, Ahmad, we are not going to solve that problem. It's not a personality issue. It should be a systematic issue to be approached in that manner. Another point you raise, GCCI and Idiop. That tells a lot about these problems. Again, you said GCCI raised money. We all knew they raised 20 million before. Why today? Why publish that today in the front page? And why have a big picture of Idiop in the front page? Do you know why? Political capital. Now, people like Idiop, these people are the vouchers. These people survive Yaya Jammeh. These people, they did everything with Yaya Jammeh. These people are behind Barrow. But right now, people like Idiop who try to come out as they have done something for Gambia and Gambians. No. Everything that they've done, everything that they try to contribute is for their own visibility, is for their own capital, so that they would determine. If people like Idiop have realized there's a vacuum. There's likely to be an interim government. And they want to show their capital to win confidence of the people. And by interim negotiation, they will have something to take on the table. In order to say that they are representing the private sector, no. They are representing themselves. In that world, what they will come in will have the same problems that we have. The problems we have here today is the people like Idiop. The problems we have today is people like other people that are sitting on their hands watching people like Idiop function without being challenged. The people, this is the problem we have. Now, GCCI have raised this money. We remember that. Can they tell us actually how the money was spent? In fact, you see that GCCI raise of money, it is the reason of the Ndemban Clinic controversy. Remember the Ndemban Clinic controversy? Yes, it came out from the GCCI fundraising. Because Tough decided, for I don't know what reason, he said he want to do his own thing. He want to do a project under his company. Probably Tough did that because of in that way, as a company, he can have a better public relationship. Probably Tough did not trust the people handling the money. I don't know, but we have evidence. Is Tough decided to go to Nemban, evaluate the job, and decided I can achieve this in a short period, and the job might cost me this, but I will do it with my company. Tough went and did that. Now, GCCI went and did their fundraising. When they finished, they made a spreadsheet, and guess what they did, Ahmad? In the leadership of Idiop, he took that spreadsheet, gave it to Adama Barrow, and said to Adama Barrow that other people in the business community failed to support Adama Barrow because of they don't like Adama Barrow. Something like of that sort. Remember, when we had this rumor, we waited for evidence. Adama Barrow came the following week and made an address and said that he have seen the list of people that donated and people who failed to donate. Now he asking those people to donate. And in that, apparently, Tough, Adama Barrow called Tough and complained to Tough that I have not seen your contribution. And apparently, Tough, explained his position and said that, look, the people coming out to tell you These are the same people that actually wanted to take over your position. I am not interested in politics, and this is what happened. You see, these people, most of the thing they do is not genuine. It's all for political capital or their business interests. Now, if we Gambians are silent, Ahmad, we are going to continue in this problem. This is the reason, and that's where the rumor started to smear each other, and you see an innocent citizen by El Boy wanted to be the casualty. Always innocent Gambians will be the casualty. And Ahmad, as these people, during the impasse, where were they? They all crossed the border and went to Senegal. If they care about the Gambia, where were they during the impasse? They crossed the border and left innocent Gambians to face what was going to come on them. That's why I am appealing to the silent majority. I am appealing to all the Gambian so-called elites or so-called educated to stand up to make sure they are counted. It's when Gambia failed, Gambia did not fail for Adama Barrow. When Gambia failed, Gambia doesn't fail for the opposition. When Gambia failed, Gambia didn't fail for the CSOs. Gambia failed for entire Gambians. Now, those people in the international community, Gambians in the diaspora, Gambians in the Gambia, and who have the means, the intellectuality, have the resources, we are calling on them to use their influence to make sure our constitutional order, Ahmad, let me emphasize, our constitutional order, because we are facing a constitutional crisis. The president is missing in action, vice president is missing in action, speaker is missing in action. Now we have unelected people and unelected non-entities running our country. And what are we waiting for? We wait for things to go completely finish before we stand up and blame each other. We are calling each other now to do something about it. Civil society have stood up, and this is the reason State House is attacking civil society. We expect the politicians to stand up with us. We expect the private sector, the genuine part of the private sector to stand up with us. We expect Gambians from every walk of life to step up and stand with a position of leadership. We expect Gambians to support any initiative that they believe in that is part of the solution. But this initiative cannot be realized if we don't have the right leadership. Ahmad.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ben. Is in a nutshell, basically what you are telling, we are on the verge of a constitutional crisis, and some wolves or vultures have already smelled blood and they want to capitalize in the vacuum. And you are calling on the Gambia educated elites to get up and step forward, and rescue this country. It is no coincidence Dusano is running out of patience with the diaspora. And right now, Sankare effectively and Dusano are running Gambia. What a disgrace. Yeah. So on a final note, I will give you time to conclude. We have only 2 minutes. I will read few comments and then one question among that. Mariam C. Hey Ben, did I ever tell you I love you? I do love you now.
That's Mariam C.
Okay, good. See, and she made Ahmed, just go and if you can to help, please. And Anna Botner said the lack of empathy for our fellow Gambians is disheartening. And she also went on to say, yeah, it is a fact, Ben. If you go down to on the ground, we struggle to fit in. And Lamin Kerejane from UK is asking, how many emergency lines do we have in the Gambia to cover calls for COVID-19? And how many staff do we have, covering the lines or manning those lines? Because this is a common complaint. You will call these lines, nobody will answer. In fact, yesterday, somebody had to call Fatu Network that he was positive and he was sent home, but he was very worried about his condition because his condition was deteriorating. He was calling this 1025, nobody was picking. He had to call Fatu and leave his contact that he is healed. He need to become evacuated to the treatment center. So Ben, let me see this final. So you can put all together and with your closing remarks. We run out of time. Unfortunately, Ben have to work. We can go for another 2 hours. This is a very, very interesting and very pertinent discussion. Thank you, Ben, once again for your time. I really appreciate it. Go,
Thank you,
Karim.
Ahmad. Mariama is my sister from Bakau. And
Okay, thank you.
Anna is someone I respected, and we do work together in the Gambia Open Society Forum. Ahmad,
Okay.
as you have stated, the conditions we have now, and you just asked about that number 1025. How many times did politicians, how many times did the Minister of Health and other come out here to make us believe that this number is functional and it's been manned? Ahmad, that's not true. That's not true at all. This is all the reason. This is all the reason why Parliament should convert. We need the facts. If you speak, because we are engaged with the frontline workers, Ahmad, they will tell you. And when I say frontline workers, people tend to forget the other sectors of the frontline. We only think about the medical workers. But Ahmad, in 2 weeks, I am not begging this to happen, but we're going to have a problem with our security forces. Because all the frontline workers from the security are not being protected. They are not working wearing PPEs and other things. That's going to be a problem again. Ahmad, we have seen some sort of evidence coming out that our rural communities now might be infected because of the Tobaski movement that happened. Ahmad, we don't hear any coordination or any leadership in this. And the 2025 number, Ahmad, as you said, it's not working. And was that done properly? No. Was that done properly? No. The plan they have was completely inadequate. Ahmad, the fact is, they have never planned. They have never planned. Because a bad plan is no planning. A plan should have a contingency strategy in it. You have to think of, you should have factor a worst case scenario. What if? Then you prepare for that. When you expect 10, when you have this room and expect 10% for today, think of what about if it gets to 50%? What am I going to do? If you are building an emergency line, don't think of, okay, so far we can just have 2 lines. You can put on the 2 lines and have 10 or 50 or 20 lines in reserve. What if things get out of hand? What if? That's what a plan is. These people didn't have a plan. Now, some of them might be infected, they are staying away, but some might take this as an excuse because they don't want to be held accountable. Ahmad, the money, where's the money? Where's the money? They don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held accountable because of the money. They don't want to be held accountable because of their failed leadership. Ahmad, because of the amount of debt is overwhelming. Now these people don't want to accept. They are dedicated leaders on that ground that took lead. I cannot even name them here, but those people are overwhelmed. People like Dr. Ramanjai and others, Alassane Senghor and others are overwhelmed. They cannot do it. It's not a personality issue. You have to have a system in order for everybody to be effective. Gambians have to realize this. That's why government have to be held accountable. That's why parliament have to reconvene to make so we try and fix this problem. Adama Barrow should be not be considered. Coming off Adama Barrow cannot. We have got to a level, but it takes a real strategic leader that have competence to lead the country. We cannot negotiate with incompetence anymore. Lives have been lost as we talked about this. The economy is gone. Tell me, when we talked about economy, we talked about the micro. Where is it? Where's Mamburenjai? Where's the permanent secretaries? Where are they? Now, it's so bad we are talking about the lines not working, but nothing else works in the country. Nothing else works in that country. And we should be facing these facts. and make sure we take this urgency. This is not about politics or anything. It's about the urgency to fix that country, and Gambians should come up and to make sure we are counted in doing this. The leadership need to be right. And we cannot have this leadership right without following the constitutional order. And the constitutional order have dictated that when we get to this quagmire, what we have to do is to get Parliament to converge, and Parliament to because they represent the people. They should listen to us. I don't know how much evidence they're waiting for. I don't know what they're waiting for to come together. But I think we have gone through enough for them to come out. And Ahmad, let people understand this. COVID is affecting us in many ways. Some people are dying in our houses, not that they have COVID, but they are affected by COVID. Because of today, I just spoke to someone who said, I cannot go to the hospital. Now I am self-medicating. It's not that they have COVID. No, they cannot go for their regular checks. Do you know that some mothers are not taking their babies for immunization? Because they're scared of taking the baby and getting something else. This is the breakdown of the health system. Instead of taking the lead, giving the lead to people who's supposed to be leading. But no, everybody is I've built a tent, and you send it to your surrogates to promote you. I've built a tent. What comes with that tent? What comes with that tent? You have not even built the tent in the right place. What comes with the tent? This is that Lola Buga people understand. You might meant well, but you have to have the know-how, or get the people that know how to take it. Gambians have resources. What we need is leadership so that the resources can be utilized properly. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have a little bit of money. But the most important thing is the human resources and the little bit of money. But that cannot be utilized if we don't have the leadership. And that's the leadership we have today. And as you said, the opportunists are out there and they smell blood. Barrow is not coming out. These things are now the politician. And Ahmad, someone just sent me something here. And it's someone I know. Let me just show you this. Police in Farafenni have this night arrested President Barrow and PP mobilizers for Jamban Jeli Ward, who were caught bribing the people of the area $2,500 in exchange for their voter card, whatever. Whatever the case, whatever the details are, with all this going on, their surrogates are still trying to mobilize people for politics. This is my point. Thank you, Ahmad. I mean, I don't have much to add on here. But
thank you, Ben Suwareh, once again, and thank you to all the viewers of Gunjur TV Online. And I'm going to conclude this by a statement from Tony Cisse. He said, COVID bring out all the contradictions in the society and lay them bare for all to see. I think that's some of everything. That's exactly what Ben is saying. And also I'll the Gambians in the diaspora, also in these platforms, let's continue to talk. You know, on our Monday, last Monday, so Ongul Chongan come up with a strategy how we can reduce cross-contamination in our markets. That's, you know, opening markets in two shifts, like 8 to 12 and maybe 2 to 6, something like that. You know, and few days after, we've seen the government come with a similar thing, not exactly the same, but similar thing. You know, and also Dusano, you know, really angrily responding to CEOs. That means, you know, we are making our mark. That's all we can do. You know, we give solutions, options by these kind of platforms. You know, we'll continue to do that because this is our country at the end of the day. You know, no man is an island. So it doesn't matter how long you've been in the diaspora, you have your aunts, your fathers, your brothers all on the ground. So that's why we are here. Yes.
Before you, someone just texted me to say someone who knows. I understand Girigara have changed his mind and decided to lend the tent instead of sell it. He was approached for them to sell this thing, but he have changed his mind. Instead of selling the tent, Now he have lent the tent for it to be used. I mean, let the news be right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. With that, I say thank you once again for your time. We appreciate it. We are back here again on Monday. No, tomorrow, inshallah, with a medical doctor and also a trained nurse to talk about solutions. As well as always. And Monday again, we are back here. Talking about solution, how we can contribute, how we can help to make sure that the impact of this pandemic is minimized. Thank you.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you.